Hey guys, it's Scott here. God, that might just be the cringiest because it's got the was basically. I want to point out I am a separate entity from him. I do not know him personally, and I did not plan any of this at all. I mean, I did have a plan for this. This is a school-related video. It's actually for my English class. That's about the. She's allowing me to make a video on the bullshit of rules in school. Oh, and sorry, this video is going to be vulgar, like extremely. Mostly for me. But either way, specifically, the experience of zero tolerance. We're gonna watch these three videos here. Shoutouts to Updoot Studios and Tap on Studios. It's just gonna be these three. And also, to try and fill this with a bit of irony, I have a pair of old reading glasses. Also, so speaking of reading, considering Doki Doki, I don't know when I'm going to start that back up, but hopefully it'll be soon. Oh crap, I need to start up Undertale as well before I run out of Xbox Live again. I mean, I had a chance to purchase it on Steam. I just failed to capitalize on it. But that's not what we're here for. We're not here for updates. We're here for reading and YouTube. The irony of watching stolen content.
Personal experiences I went.
Alright.
What zero tolerance school stories do you have? My sister almost got suspended in the 3rd grade cause my mom put a plastic butter knife in her lunch one day. I forget why she needed it for her lunch. One of the lunchroom aides spotted her using it and sent her right to the principal's office, and they called my mom to come in. A 3rd grader.
So, this already pisses me off. Crap, hang on. Trying to grab my webcam. But, yeah, like, if you're that worried about a third grader with a plastic knife, there are more problems than the obvious. I mean, yes, you don't want anyone to get hurt, you don't want someone to get stabbed, obviously, but that just sounds like absolute paranoia to me. A lot of these are about, like, and I will admit, all but that middle video I have seen before. But anyway, back to what I was trying to say, which I forgot already. Right. Most of these videos are about like an accident, like an act, someone accidentally brought a weapon with them into the building, which is just stupidity on its own. I feel like and some of these are about fights, of which the victim got punished because zero tolerance states that it doesn't matter if you were the victim or the aggressor, you get in trouble. Anyway, back to the video.
Stabs an adult with a plastic knife. Knife breaks. Adult looks at them confused.
Yeah, see? The knife would break. Like, even with like the little teeth on the butter knife, it would the most you could do is scratch someone. I don't think you can draw blood with I don't think you can draw blood with that thing. I don't mm, I mean you might be able to. Damn, 4 minutes in.
This was 10 years ago. My cousin, 1 grade lower than me, got into a fight at
Oh.
school. Zero tolerance policy says they are both suspended.
Yep.
Attached to this policy is if a student is involved in 3 separate
Yes, one of
fights
the ones I
within
was
their
thinking
time at the
about.
high school, then they were expelled. Within 2 weeks of my cousin returning, one of the guy's friends started a fight with my cousin. They are both suspended. A few weeks after he returns again, another friend of the original kid starts a fight with my cousin. In each situation the other kid threw the first punch. Zero tolerance each time means it didn't matter. That is how children outsmarted the zero tolerance policy and why my cousin graduated from a private high school.
Okay, concerning this one, it's and the attachment to this policy of 3 fights at your time in this school and you're suspended, or sorry, expelled. And this is a good, and this story does bring notice to that, because it states that the original kid had friends, and it makes me wonder, why did they dislike the dude's cousin in the first place? It's, I mean, like, I try not to hold grudges, but I do. But I'm not willing to beat the crap out of you to try and resolve that. No, it's not even a case of zero tolerance. I don't even know if that exists at my school. Like, half the stuff I've seen in these videos, it like doesn't exist. It's sort of like it hasn't happened yet. And I swear one time there might have been someone might have nearly started a fight in the bathroom, but I can't fully remember if that's true or not.
That's really smart of them and really fricked up. Frick zero tolerance.
Agreed.
When I was in year 10, grade 9 for Americans, we all had to line up to go into the dinner hall. For whatever reason they put the menu with what they were serving that day at the front of the queue, so I walked to the front to read it.
Okay, with this saying in dinner hall, it confuses me. Then again, this man did say a year 10, that being 9th for Americans. So obviously this man is a foreign, is not from the States. I'm not even gonna try and. But anyway, just like, do you people that live outside of America and go to school, do you like stay there for the entire day or something? I'm just asking because of this one thing, because of this one word right here, one phrase. I mean, whatever.
As I was walking back, a tiny year 8 kid, grade 7, shouted over to me, "Hey, stop trying to cut in the line, you donghead." I just told him to frick off and mind his own business, as it's the kind of school where if it looks like you're giving in to a younger kid without fighting your corner, you won't hear the end of it. Then the little crap rugby tackled me, but he was too small to knock me over, so I just kind of stood there awkwardly as he tried to kick me.
One way that, I mean, regardless, it's guaranteed I'd get in trouble. But I literally just like, you know, like I've seen this a few times in videos. Encoding over, how? Anyway, as really. I really need to fix that encoding thing. Anyway, as I was attempting to say, it's like, you know how like in the cartoons when like a small character is running at a bigger character, the big one just holds the short one like by their forehead as the midget is just flailing on him. Because he can't reach, it's just like he's doing windmills with his arm. It's just funny.
After a while I'd had enough, so I grabbed him and picked him up, put him against the wall where he was standing before, and turned to walk off. The headmaster was standing right in front of me and he'd been watching the whole thing. We both got sent to the reflection room, which is like a higher form of detention. The only time I got in trouble was for trying to walk away from a fight started by someone half my size who I probably could have hurt if I had wanted to.
Oh yeah, in this world, at least in as a senior, I've learned that if you take shit from no one, you can do pretty well. And I'm mainly saying that because I got bullied like a motherfucker before. Thankfully, I haven't yet, and I just pray that that doesn't change because I have no Fs left to give and no Fs to take from anyone. Because heh, no. If you're going to insult me, well, I mean, obviously I'm going to start with the logical, reasonable act of just telling them to stop. If it continues, I'm guaranteed going to slap them. I don't care if I get in trouble for it. You wouldn't stop. I asked you to stop. Hell, I probably went to the teacher by now, and you just didn't stop. So, logically, backhand ready for you. Just like that. But anyway, back to the video.
Thanks, Headmaster. Now I know in the future that I should just deck the little bastard instead of being gentle because the punishment is going to be the same anyway.
Yep. This would probably be my next. It's like, if that were to happen again, I just do it.
In 9th grade I was in a class that had some disruptive students that always caused problems for the teacher. During the semester they were forced to sit at the desks nearest the teacher's desk. I wasn't a bad student.
Seems understandable. Well, because that way the teacher can keep an eye on the troublemakers a lot easier.
At all, but for some reason I was forced to sit in the front of them. I was P. One day we had a substitute and my entire row gave the sub a very hard time. When the actual teacher came back, she forced everyone in my room to detention. Many other students protested for me, even the bad students in my row. She said, "That's too bad." From that,
That's surprising. And because, like, usually the troublemakers don't stick up for anyone but themselves and their little friend group of shitlords. But I mean, fair enough. The man didn't even do the man was just there.
That day forward I helped the bad students to not get caught whenever they fricked with her. Good for you, man. I always liked to mess with teachers if they were unfair to their students. Not me, but my niece once had to do a school project about the Voyagers. We lived in a relevant area, in the computer lab. So she innocently typed in furtraders.com orgnet whatever. Of course it was P.
Oh.
She got suspended. We had to do a project on...
Nice. This had to have been like when computers first a thing and obviously the rise of pornographic sites was up. Because instantly typing something, you instantly type something and then you get porn. I wasn't around. I mean, I actually was. I was born in '03, but I say that, and so yeah. I don't think I got like the chance at a computer until, well, one of the first times I went to my grandpa's house, dad's side. He's no longer alive, but I don't like to talk about that. Anyway, moving on.
Pirates for grade 12 history. Could not get research done due to piracy coming up on the school filter.
Wow.
Left a BB gun in my friend's car in high school. Security saw it and he got kicked out. I talked to the principal, who was our friend and mentor, about reversing the decision or taking the punishment myself. He was just as upset as me, but he kept explaining that his hands were tied. He finally just looked me in the eye and said zero tolerance. Actually, He used my name afterward, so I knew the conversation was over. My friend graduated from an alternative school. That's fricked up.
Yeah, it's makes like you're so scared. It's like a lot of these stories about like you are so scared that a student is going to like either stab someone or shoot up the school. You don't want bullying at all, so you punish both kids, the aggressor and the victim. And yet obviously with that story of three fights it's during three fights at the school and you're banned, well you get kicked out. Obviously, zero tolerance has problems.
I once got suspended because a security guard found an unloaded airsoft pistol in the back of my
Oh,
truck.
another
Let me be
unrelated.
clear, by pistol, I mean those ones made of clear plastic, and by back of my truck I mean behind the passenger seat of a crew cab with tinted rear windows. This security guard is really doing his job, eh? Marking these suburban high schools safe for everyone. Also, I had a friend who got suspended for bringing a metal butter knife to school with his lunch.
Oh, this is going along with the first one. And remember the little girl with the butter knife? The plastic one? This one's metal. But it doesn't matter because it's a knife. Even though it should. It's like, say I bring a drill. Oh, right? Most likely teachers are going to be fine with it. But what they don't realize is that I could still take this and bludgeon someone's head in. I'm not saying they should ban drills or anything like that, because there's a makerspace, there's a workshop up at my school that actually uses these. And teacher is strict on the rules, so no need to worry about cutting off finger, because if you do that, that's your own dumb fault. That you didn't follow the safety directions. But still, if you're going to get scared over a butter knife, I mean, obviously you're going to try and ban someone with an actual knife, but they're going to have the actual knife is going to be more subtle. Oh, instead of a butter knife, which you would logically use to eat your food with.
A knife is a knife, people. There can be no tolerance for weapons or logic and reasoning.
Based. But this man basically helped describe my point that I was trying to make.
2 people got suspended for fighting off school property with each other.
Okay, already, there's a problem. Note what he said. Off school property. Meaning the administration and was logically should not interfere. And yet they did. If you're going to interfere with schools, if you're going to interfere with something off the property, don't. Leave that to the residents, and specifically the parents of the children. And if it's not on school grounds, if it's not on campus, then don't worry about it. It doesn't concern you.
Also, not my school, but a local school, and it made the news.
Oh?
A girl with Down syndrome or an intellectual disability said a popular athlete assaulted her in the library, and they made the girl write an apology letter to him.
Okay, I want to look this up really quick. Hang on. I don't want you to know what I'm searching. Just give me a minute. Alright, I think I found it, but it took me to a YouTube link. I just made the search, and it leads to Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna get any further with that. I just know it.
Only to find out later he did do it, many
Oh,
times. They made the girl write an apology letter to him. That is so sad.
agreed. Because don't make the victim apologize. As if anyone should be apologizing, it's the aggressor, not the victim.
I hope she eventually got justice.
I
When
hope
I
so
was in
too.
10th grade, I was eating dinner with my family and my dad accidentally spills his beer all over my shirt. No big deal, so I go upstairs and take my shirt off for the night. The next day while I'm getting dressed I see that I'm out of clean shirts to wear, so without thinking I grabbed the shirt from last night and put it on, eat breakfast and get out the door. The day was pretty normal, until I was called up to the front office. I wasn't really a bad kid or anything, so I wasn't too worried. Once I arrived, the principal informed me that another student told him that I smelled like beer and assumed that I had been drinking. I told the principal about what happened last night and assured him that I had not been drinking. He tells me that it still counts as bringing alcohol onto school grounds.
That is bullshit. Because you can't necessarily control something like that. So by this idiot principal's logic, if I spill some, like, say, bleach on my shirt, then technically, by his logic, that counts as bringing bleach onto school grounds. That is idiotically flawed. I could like just as easily spill something on my pants, and that would count as bringing it there if it's stained.
And for that I was suspended. TL. DR.
Listen to
Some
this.
people drink their alcohol, others wear it, but it is all the same in the eyes of the principal.
Because he's an
We
idiot.
have a zero tolerance no fighting rule in our gymnasium. Like even if you lay down on your back while you're getting jumped you'll still get expelled. Happened to get into a fight with a guy I honestly could easily beat down. But since I really don't want any trouble with the school or at home I just blocked my head until the principal came by. After a minute of discussion he told me that I'd get suspended for 2 weeks even when I told him that I didn't hit back. So I did what any teenager would have done, I think. I got loose from the principal and beat the other guy down and took my punishment.
That's good.
If you're gonna do the time, you might as well do the crime.
Based.
My school.
Because if you're going to get in trouble, you may as well actually perform what's or the reason that you got in trouble. Well, that way they actually have the excuse instead of just doing it to enforce it because they can.
Had a zero tolerance policy on cell phones and electronic items.
Wow.
Obviously you can't convince a high schooler to not bring a phone with him or so the
That
administrators
is
would do
so
raids
true.
occasionally and bust some phones each time.
Thankfully, at my school, they don't enforce anything like this. They just prefer it if you don't have your phone out in class. Which is fine because usually I play videos and shove it back in my pocket.
They didn't give it back until the end of the year. I don't think that is really legal for them to keep your cell phone for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't think
In
so
high school
either.
I got suspended for 1 week because I had a bottle of prescription painkillers in my locker.
Oh, medication. Oh, these drug-related ones. They are the real amount of bullshit. Even more so than fighting. Because, like he said, it's prescribed. So, the kid kind of has to have it. Reminds me of a story, right? Wait, where someone had an allergic reaction. They're taking out their EpiPen. Security saw it, took the pen, like, hold out your arm so I can do it. And the girl straight up swiped up the Epi and then properly injected it by slamming it into the thigh. And then said, I need medical attention now. You don't use, like, EpiPens, and if you're going to use them, they go in your fucking thigh. Not the wrist. Something like a flu shot goes in the wrist. Thankfully, thankfully she knew what she was doing. I swear there's also a few involving inhalers.
I was taking them because I got a serious knee injury while playing for
Ooh.
the school baseball team. I also got kicked off
Sounds
the team and
painful.
wasn't allowed to participate in any sports at school for the last 2.5 years of my high school
Wow.
education. The principal explained to me that they had a zero tolerance policy to drugs of any kind. Worst.
Even if... Oh, yeah. It's like, I'm more than willing... If I'm going to be punished for something that stupid, I'm more than willing to rat out as many people as possible.
Part is, I could have went to at least 10 different lockers in school and shown him drugs in there, but he wouldn't let me because I shouldn't be snitching on my peers.
Buddy, I'm going to snitch on them motherfucks regardless. It's like, even if I have to do it as an anonymous.
Screw you, Principal Vikers. I mean, usually you're supposed to give the nurse your meds, but I'm still on your side. They went overboard.
Indeed.
I went to a very, very, very crappy school district. I mean, this place is scum in so many ways. My little brother has ADD and mild autism.
Oh, joy.
He's a very nice kid and always has been.
I have autism. So, and ADHD, but it doesn't matter. But it's relevant. It is relevant to this. But anyway, these autism stories piss me off to an extreme. Because usually the teachers do not help the autistic. They just don't give a shit. At least my school actually tries to care. Then again, I got in trouble for making accidental death threat in 8th grade, and someone made a legitimate death threat because I was screwing with their friend's stuff. Mainly because it was just one of those Bluetooth keyboards. He made an actual death threat, and all he got was a talk. I got suspended for 3 months and had someone come to my house to make sure that I could come back to school, and the other guy got the equivalent of a slap on the wrist. Why? Is it really because I'm autistic? Are you that worried that an autistic child's going to shoot up the school? If so, you're a fucking idiot. Also, those idiots. It's that keep saying video games cause violence. No, most likely, it's their shitty living situation, and they use video games as a coping mechanism. Hell, my life isn't that much of a shit show, but at times it is, and video games do help to cope. Anyway, back to the video. Oh, whoop, accidentally muted.
And compliments people he doesn't even know. Anyways,
That
there was
sounds
a
like
kid in
something
his
I would
grade
do.
who was the biggest butthole. He was mean to everyone, even the poor kids who were his friends. He always picked on my brother and his friends, calling them retarded and everything else.
Like I said earlier with the midget at lunch in that story, guaranteed bat straight at this asshole's face. Oh joy, if current mental state me was in middle school when I used to take the bus. Well, I mean, I got so pissed one time over an accident, over not watching what I said. The story was that it involves racism. I didn't even know what the concept was at the time. I am bus. I usually sit in the back, like the very back. There was a kid. in my seat. He was black. I was with a friend. He was white. I said, I don't want you sitting in my seat, but I will let him sit in my seat because he is my friend. That is the only reason. The kid in the seat wasn't my friend, and the kid I was with was. But apparently, that counted as racism because he was black. That, and I said the N word twice in middle school without checking what I was saying. Because usually, whenever I get royally pissed, I do not watch my mouth. At all. But thankfully, I don't get hounded on for that anymore. And I'm grateful. Because, I guaranteed throw a chair at someone if they still did it. But yeah, that ship has long since sailed. I have not seen the child in question, the one that was sitting in my seat, nor the friend. And they have both left my life. So the incident cannot happen again, because I don't even take the bus anymore. And I am so grateful, because guaranteed, if I took the bus, someone would get hurt, because they wouldn't shut up and leave me alone. Anyway, back to the story. Most of the solutions I have involve violence.
Monday, we get a
And
code
violence
red.
is never the answer.
Everyone is stuck in their classrooms and there had been a recent trend in girls fighting in the bathroom, so everyone assumed that was what was going on.
Seriously?
Number,
Girls in the bathroom?
I wish it had been a girl fight. I get called down to the office about an hour later. My brother and his best friend were walking to class. They were at the top of one of the stairwells when Butthole Mikashut came up behind them and shoved my brother down the stairs as hard as he could. My brother tried to grab onto the brick wall to stop himself from falling and ended up dragging his hand down the bricks, ripping his hand apart. He still has the scar. He hit his face on the tile at the bottom after doing several head over heels rolls down the stairs. His nose and lip were bleeding and his back was hurt so bad
Good
they thought
Lord.
he had broken it. He ended up going to the air. Fast forward a week later. He's back in school and the principal.
This part is why I'm pissed with the story. I mean, if I was the person who's telling the story and I saw that shit, Asshat would go flying down the stairs because I would try and chuck him. Like, straight up, pick him up WWE style, and then yeet him down the stairs hard as I can. Because, don't fuck with my family. I'm more than willing to defend it. Especially my dog. You come at my dog, you may as well write your obituary. Because you're not going to live long enough to see tomorrow. I'm serious about that one, by the way. Attack my dog and you are fucked.
Principal calls him to her
I
office.
love my
This
dog.
bee. I don't know how this bee was ever allowed to work in a school. She made my brother shake hands with butthole and makeup. She said
This, I have a problem with. I just wouldn't do it. If it got me expelled from the school, good. If he somehow got in trouble, good. I just wouldn't do it.
the alternative was both of them getting suspended because she did not believe my brother did nothing to provoke him from pushing him down the stairs, despite two witnesses telling her what happened. My brother has been bitter over that ever since. Also, when my mom found out he had to shake Butthole Mikashut's hand, she went to the school and
This name is hilarious. Butthole McAssat. I might just use that.
confronted the principal. The principal told my mom, well, maybe if your son wasn't annoying it wouldn't have happened. My mom pulled her across the desk and a secretary had to pull her off of her.
That is
I
based.
like your mom. There wasn't really a zero tolerance thing back then, but school was over. I was starting my walk home and a friend runs by and drops his bag by me and yells to me to carry it. He were going to play hockey after school, so whatever. Nothing of circumstance came of it. I never heard where he was even running to. Next day teacher is all pee off. I go in to see the principal and turns out my friend was trying to pick a fight.
Oh yeah, this is another story of it's not on school grounds, and supposedly it would have been a fight with the friend, this guy's friend, and someone from a different school, which makes it even less relevant to your school. But I'm gonna let this guy continue.
Fight, mind you. Apparently all he ever did was run after someone but never even got close to them. Not even the same block. There was no fight. This also happened all outside of the school. So naturally my friend was suspended for a week and remaining days in that week. And because I carried his bag I was an accomplice in the fight, which never happened. I was suspended for the remaining days in that week. There was like 2-3 day vacation for me that I was happy to take. It was all crappy rainy days but I was happy to leave. So you got punished for a fight that never happened that you didn't know about. Not quite zero tolerance, but my friend's sister grew up in quite a foul-mouthed household, with older siblings. Her first word S was son of a B, blurted out emphatically for no apparent reason at the
Wow.
breakfast table. And when she was quite young, first grade, some boy pushed her on the playground. She called him a boob. He broke down and cried. Told the teacher she had to eat lunch on the psychologist's office the rest of the year because she was a danger to the other students or something.
I find this stupid. Because if you grow up in a vulgar household, I didn't. My friend introduced me to the concept of profanity in 6th grade, which was worse. I mean, sooner or later, by around that time, sooner or later, you would learn the concept of profanity. Because middle school. Anyway, it's like if you have to sit and eat food at the psychologist's desk for the rest of the year because you're a menace to society, there are more problems. There are a lot more problems. Is that mark on my forehead still there? I don't think it. It's gone. I was. I do wrestling in school, and I got kneed at my latest match. Twice. Not twice in one. Separate matches. And it left a mark. But, well, they're gone, so.
And her mother had to come in. Mother told them that if they thought that was the most pressing issue they had, she thought they should.
Oh, I forgot that. For some stupid reason, it'll like a rec. It'll. Sometimes the text to speech will turn into a record that's stuck on loop. Like with the specific. Uh, like, she thought they should look harder. Didn't go to the meeting. She's a badass in general.
Should look hard. She thought they should look hard. She thought they should look hard. She thought they should look hard. She thought the boob got in no trouble for pushing her because he told on her first.
Of course. Because the aggressor is the victim in a lot of these stories. Bullying is inevitable. I don't know why teachers don't understand that.
She could have easily beaten the crap out of him. I'm in Britain where zero tolerance isn't really a thing.
Okay.
I think the closest thing we got to zero tolerance were when teachers would hold an entire class back in detention, including the ones who were not disruptive and were doing the work. It seriously peed me off when I was at school. It happened mostly during years 7, 8 and 9. I'd have been 11 when I started year 7, which is the first year of secondary school in Britain. Teachers at my school did it because it was to punish the disruptive students. They wanted the innocent to blame the guilty and ostracize them so they wouldn't do it again. I don't have a story, but I was blamed for a fight that happened on a weekend that wasn't even off school grounds. This kid who doesn't even go to my school who has a name
this
really
is
similar
the
to
one.
mine got in a fight with some kid at my school. So naturally they thought it was me. Thankfully a couple days earlier my friend told me about said fight, so I was able to provide some background information to get myself out of blame.
Good
But
job.
they took me to a
At least you have good. At least you have good friends that are willing to tell you about that stuff. I mean, I feel like my friends would tell me about it too. Okay, I might just leave it at one video.
Friggin' room
So
with the
yeah,
school cop and some other people, and they were treating this like a massive deal. It's a fight that happened on the weekend at a scatter park, and one of the kids doesn't even go to the same school. Why are you meddling in on their business?
based.
My school had a zero hat policy because of gangs.
I tried to make a script on zero tolerance for a video, also related to school. Hell, that's actually what inspired me to do this one. I was going to go on to this gang shit because it's hilarious. The American schools are so scared of it. And I live in America, and they do not care. I mean, in elementary they did, because it was like a case of obscuring your face, I guess. At least that's what I remember. I I haven't worn a hat to school in a long time. I have mainly because I wear these to school because they actually help to drown out the noise, and I like that. As a if any of you have been in a school, you know that it gets loud as shit. Anyway, back to the story.
I got suspended for wearing a coonskin hat. I guess I was representing the Davy Crockett gang. Everyone knows the Crockett's run the east side of this city.
The replies to comments like this are great. Alright, I'm just gonna take these off for a bit.
Bully punches kid in the face. Kid doesn't fight back but
This is how zero tolerance is. This is what happens when zero tolerance is met with bully fighting. With fights.
because he knows he'll get suspended for fighting. Kid lets the bully hit him until the teacher gets there. Teacher gets there and gives a detention to the bully and the bullied. My stepbrother
Exactly.
and his friends all got suspended for pretending to have lightsabers at recess. No, not plastic ones. Literally their imagination. WTF.
If you're that scared of a child playing a no. There are more
The
issues.
school was afraid they were plotting to take over the galaxy.
That's good. That's a good joke. Anyway, a lot of these involve like just teachers that don't know what to do. I swear. So the logical option is to punish all parties involved.
A boy bullied me for almost an entire year, called me fat, that kind of thing. I said if he kept talking to me I was going to kill him. I got in school suspension for 2 days. He got a talk from the guidance counselor about how you shouldn't bully girls you have a crush on. Chewing gum. Rather, looking like I was chewing gum because my jaw was sore from having rubber bands on my braces.
Didn't even I don't think that did the teachers even ask if you were or not? It's like I haven't had braces in my life. My sister has. She doesn't have them anymore. I mean, if your jaw is that sore, or did the teacher? Well, I mean, I assume you tried explaining it to him. You're just like, nope, nope, you're coming with me. Come on.
Ended up in an isolation room for the rest of the day and then got suspended for a week. Looking back now I realize how stupid most grade school suspensions are because it doesn't really teach you anything other than the fact that you get vacation for looking like you're breaking a silly rule.
True.
Exactly. I work at a school, and a kindergartner told his mom that he tries to get in trouble on purpose because he knows that he will be sent home. All they learn is that they break a rule. They don't have to be in school.
Yep.
I was raped, molested every day by my co-op supervisor while I was high school.
Wow.
This went on for about 4 months. My parents found out by reading my journal, who then called my school. I was called to the principal's office and was then threatened with expulsion. I was 16 at the time.
So the victim is threatened with the punishment. Instead, the guy who molested them should get fired.
Sue the frick out of that school.
Yeah.
The parochial school I went to had a zero tolerance for LGBT teens out of the closet. My senior year, right after I came out, the vice principal pulled me out of study hall and into his office to confront me about it. I'll never forget. I've heard some rumors. Are you gay, with a look on his face as if I had threatened to shoot the school up. Long story short, it was either go back in the closet or be expelled. I didn't.
Look, I don't care how you live your life. If you're gay, you're lesbian, and a homophobe, or bisexual, trans. And the only pronouns I identify people as is he, she. The base two genders of male and female. You know, listen, if you're gay, that's fine. If you're not, that's also fine. Just keep that business away from me and we won't have a problem. Because I don't want to get caught up in your stupidity. I mainly say that because I'm religious. And homosexuality goes against that religion. But like I said, I could care less about how you live your life. Just keep your shit away from me.
Want to leave because it was my senior year. I was almost done, and I wanted to graduate with my friends. In retrospect though, seriously, frick that guy in that school's administration. Should have said, look buddy, I don't know who you think I am, but I am not interested in sexual relations with a teacher. Then get him reviewed for harassment.
Ooh, that would work.
My mom sent a
That could
plastic
work.
knife to kindergarten so I could cut up my apple during lunch. Cafeteria staff noticed and I almost got suspended, but my mom told them off, pointing out if you're afraid of a 5-year-old with a plastic knife, there's bigger issues.
That's literally what I've been saying the whole time. If you are that scared of a child with a weapon of any kind, there are more problems than the obvious.
I wonder what they would do post 9/11. What would they do post 9/11? Probably taser you. 5-year-olds
Yep.
can be terrorists too, you know. I once got detention because the two guys behind me were talking.
If none of you know what 9/11 is, just look it up or ask your parents. If they won't answer you, and Google doesn't help, which I'll be surprised. But basically, the Twin Towers were attacked by a terrorist group on 9/11. And that was the biggest threat that was one of the biggest threats that America had ever faced. You can guarantee get more details on it if you just Google. I'm not willing to explain any further. God, I look like a massive nerd. These are reading glasses, though. They aren't prescription. The concept, also, side note, the concept of prescribed glasses is a bit weird to me. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just odd.
In line. We used to have to line up several times during the day, army style. Straight lines with uniform inspection. Perfect silence. My only detention to date.
Wow.
A bigger kid pinned me in a corner and tried to stab me with a sharpened pencil. Say what you will about the lethality of a small stick of wood, but having been stabbed with one before, I could tell you that it hurts like a bitch.
Well, I can say that it's possible that you can potentially kill someone with it. I'm literally going off of a World War II VR game and John Wick. Because you can apparently stab people with a pen in the VR game, and in one of the scenes, Wick stabs somebody in the skull with a pencil.
Anyway, he pins me between two columns and attempts to shank me with it. I disarmed him and pushed him away, and then I moved in to tackle him so I could actually get some maneuvering room to escape and get help. Help came. and we both got suspended for the last week of 8th grade. Frick zero tolerance. When I was in high
I love how zero tolerance, its response is no matter what the crime is, punish both.
school, a girl spit in my eye. I see that as the lowest form of an insult you could possibly do to someone, so naturally I retaliated. I yelled and screamed while my friend held me back. Eventually, due to heart issues and being overwhelmed with the stress on my body, I passed out.
Wow.
I woke up in a classroom and that was about it. I gave the office my account on things and they did their investigation. Well, if I remember correctly, it was a day or two later before we were both suspended for fighting.
Go back to earlier in the story. Eventually, due to heart issues and being overwhelmed with stress on my body, I passed out. And the friend held him back so none of the punches could have made contact.
I tore my labrum in a football game.
Stupidity.
I was on the bus back to school. I was holding my arm in pain. The kid next to me called me P. Told him to go frick himself. He spit on me. I hawked a brownish yellow spitball into his eye. I proceeded to beat him to a bloody pulp with my good arm. Don't fricking spit on me.
Fair enough. Because basically spitting at someone's feet, or just spitting in their direction in general, it basically means that you see them as an asshole and have no respect for them.
I got jumped at my middle school. Kid whipped at my backpack and threw me to the ground. He proceeded to punch and kick me. When he ran off, I threw a pebble and told him that I'd kill him. I got suspended for making a threat, despite having a split lip and black eyes. Another kid pushed me and I landed on my wrist wrong. Kid was coming for me again and I threw a fistful of sand. School said there was nothing they could do because my arm wasn't broken. I did, however, have a severely sprained wrist, yet principal looked into suspending me for using a dangerous weapon.
The sand? Sand attack is a dangerous weapon to you.
My mother ended up marching to the school and got me out of that one.
Good.
Till pocket sand is a dangerous weapon. One wet day in grade 4 we were all confined to the tarmac. This was done for the same reason that children are bad enough. Muddy children would be insane to deal with. However, something was stopping the proper drainage around a sewer grate. This fascinated the boys in my class and we promptly decided it required contest. We lined up and began seeing who could jump over this very sizable puddle. Laughs were had and a few socks were soaked. This behavior brought down the full wrath of the administration. We had flagrantly disobeyed the nature of our asphalt confinement and spit on the dry ideals of the school.
This is so funny to me. The entirety of the story, because it's children hopping over a puddle. We will find a way to make anything into a game. Hell, there was one in one of the stories, not zero tolerance, but different, where there was apparently a deciblometer-like device in the cafeteria because students were being too loud, and everyone turned it into a game to like make it go off as much as possible.
What could they do when faced with such a mass uprising in puddle jumpers? To be sure, none of us dared to ever send our persons hurtling over a body of water again. We were all held in detention for 3 lunch periods. Every member of my grade with a member was forced into this, where we were to novelize our newfound understanding and respect for obeying and staying dry. Sadly, it was all for naught. Many of those punished went on to do many more terrible dirty deeds. In 6th grade I got a referral for saying heck. Teacher didn't even hear it, just got told on. Some kid jumped on my back and I said what the heck, and he told the teacher, freaking bulls. But heck is just a place, not a swear word.
True. But hell is used as a swear word. Hell and heck basically mean the same thing. And you could say what the hell, go to hell, I'll see you in hell. Go to, and I'll see you. Basically, you're using hell as a place, which is what it is. If you say, what the hell, you're basically using it as a reaction. But apparently not to these people.
3rd grade. We were at the
Oh, joy.
playground and this kid was trying to choke me. A teacher told us to come down but we didn't. Eventually teachers came and took us to the principal's office. AMD the principal gave us a week without recess or lunch. That's freaking child abuse.
Indeed. If you're not gonna give the child lunch, like, even if it's just a single food item, that is abuse. It's already been an hour. But I have no plans on cutting out any of this because I don't know how to properly edit. I should take up filming school. Shouldn't I? Alright, back to the penthouse.
So I sat next to this kid in computer class. We were like 14. Every
Okay.
day, he would just call me gay. Constantly. All semester. It wasn't really a big deal for a while. It just got freaking annoying hearing the same thing constantly every day all semester. Teacher did jack crap about it. Finally, one day, I said, hey, if you call me gay again, I'm going to punch you in the face. You're too gay to do it. So I hit him once right in the middle of the forehead.
That is the approach I would take. Like I said, most of my solutions to stop a problem involve violence. Violence is never the answer. Or it shouldn't be, but that concept is just grained into my head. Might be from playing too many video games. Oh no, dare I say that? Because now some idiot's going to think that I'm going to shoot up the block. Because I play violent video games. Just because I play Doom Eternal and Halo once in my life doesn't mean I'm going to shoot the school. I am mentally stable enough to know that that is wrong.
Got some crazy good momentum built up from the pivoting desk chair. Completely
Oh, wow.
quiet room. Then a loud smack. No one freaking noticed. Anyway, he went to the principal. I admitted it cause I'm a bad liar. It was pretty satisfying because it left this giant purple knot on his forehead. My parents had my back because I'd tried getting.
Also, the autocorrect. I don't know how to properly spell forehead, but I know you don't spell it like that. Also, this part of your head is the forehead. To those of you younger who don't know the concept of it.
The teacher to stop him beforehand. Anyway, this was right before the standardized testing, and I was gonna be suspended during that. I was one of like 4 kids that always had crazy good scores on it, so they called our house and asked if I'd come take it. Yay. Sure, I'll be there. Okay, but since you're suspended, you can't ride the bus, then I won't be there. Finally they decided to send a freaking teacher to get me from my house. Turns out it was the computer's teacher. Weird, right?
Ironic,
I had to
but
sit
it
in a separate
feels-
room and take my test so I didn't endanger the populace or some crap. Later in the semester, they had some sort of field trip for people that did well on the test. They said I couldn't go because I was suspended during the test. So my parents took me out of school that day for a dentist's appointment. It was a good day. Then there was a time I got jumped on by a kid because I had my elbow on his desk. While he was flipping my desk over on top of me, my elbow hit him, so I got suspended. My mom told the principal she was just going to start teaching me and my sister to beat the crap out of anyone who touches us if we're gonna get suspended anyway.
That is. Hell, I'd probably do that as well. But not until they actually start getting really bullied, aka middle school. I just pray that my kids have a good elementary.
He freaked the frick out. Holy frick, that school was terrible. This is probably going to get really buried, but why not? My school's response to everything was to suspend you.
Hang on. I I'm gonna go get a drink of water really quick. All right, we're back.
These are all personal experiences I went through. My high school principal had a severe obsession with what I wore. Always would stop me.
Okay, there's a massive problem with this. Unless it's dress code related, and even then, a cleavage test, you say?
To point out my clothes are too revealing. Tell me to lean forward for a cleavage test and would send me home for disrupting the school. And after 3 strikes you were suspended for 3 days. I never even wore revealing clothes, unless you consider a button-up flannel, tank top, and jeans revealing. I mean, I was 14. 50-year-old men should not be concerned with the non-existent cleavage of a high school freshman. If you were tardy to
Exactly.
school or to class more than 3 times a semester, you were suspended for 3 days.
Yeah, for punishing the kid. If you miss days in school, the proper punishment is to keep them out of school for longer.
If it happened again, you were suspended for 5 days, and so on. Cause, you know the best way to punish someone for being late and missing out on class is to cause them to miss 3 whole class days rather than only
True.
the few minutes they were late. If you took too many sick days without a doctor's note, you were suspended. I mean, you missed too many days. How about
How the fuck are you? How does your school stay in business? As if its response to everything is suspension. I'd literally just drop out of school at that point.
we cause you to miss even more? Not everyone can afford $300 doctor visits to confirm you have a terrible cold. If you miss too many total days of school, suspension sick days terides included, you were suspended. I know this, because I missed a total of 30 days of school thanks to being sick and previous suspensions, and whenever I tried to come back to school, they would suspended me for 3, then 5, then 10 days. When I pointed out the stupidity of it all, they just quoted we are a zero-tolerance school, and we do not support truancy of any kind before handing me another suspension slip.
Guaranteed I would just rip it up in front of him and then leave and tell him that I have no intentions on coming back.
At least I got to watch my dad call the head principal every name in the book. The cleavage test sounds pervy as crap.
Exactly.
And not totally buried by the way. American Friends High School had a star athlete that way overestimated his untouchability when he went after a very well-liked but non-popular guy. Got them both suspended for 2 weeks for fighting even though the non-popular guy just took it. Mr. Star Athlete got his career cut way short when hairline fractures nearly shattered his entire shin in training. The doctors said it was impact stress from repeated long jumps, but the rumors had it that it was helped along by a carload of non-popular guy's friends picking up Mr. Star after he got blackout at a party and giving him a going over with a rubber hose pipe. This thread needs more vengeance in it to satisfy the rage it generates.
Indeed.
If you are new to the channel.
Okay. No, I'm gonna let this man do my intro for me.
You can subscribe. I publish new videos every day.
Okay, not that part. But yeah, if you like the video, please consider subscribing. I mean, I do plan on making more videos soon in the near future. I don't know when specifically, but it'll happen. And I can't guarantee dates, though. But yeah, seeing as how I have reading glasses, I'm gonna try and fill Doki with irony. Yeah, I'm not sure when Undertale is gonna happen again. And I might just make a Mega Man playthrough. But yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, from old friends to new generations, saying farewell, just meeting each other again. This is Scott360 signing off. Peace out, guys.